Hello everyone. In the Greek period, the philosophy was basically dominated by church and the pope. Philosophy was supposed to be a slave of the religion. Then came a transition period in about 15th century and European Renaissance took its root. Then in 17th and 18th century came the modern Western period. And in this modern Western period, what was repressed was taken into consideration. And what was it that was repressed? It was the reason. Reason was repressed. People were not asking why. What is the authentic knowledge? What is the source of authentic knowledge? Why is it happening? That is why the first school of the modern Western philosophy is the school of the rationalism. The second school of the modern Western philosophy is known as empiricism. Rationalism is basically represented by the thinkers Descarte, Spinoza, and Leibniz. Empiricism is basically represented by Locke, Berkeley, and Hume. And then Kant came, who kind of reconciliated and showed a critical philosophy of both he kind of reconciliated both the empiricism and rationalism. Now, what we are going to study about today is Descartes. Descartes, he was a mathematician, he was a math-loving philosopher. So he wanted to apply the perfection of mathematics to philosophy. How is he going to apply the perfection of mathematics to philosophy? That we are going to study. Now, basically we all know that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Whenever we have to solve an axiom in mathematics, we start from the simple problem and then we go to the complex problems. That is how it happens in maths. And math, according to him, is the only thing that can give you clear and distinct knowledge. Clear and distinct. 2 words. Clear means that is acceptable to a rational mind, and distinct is no confusion must be left after it. Now, his whole goal was to come up with a set of rules by which he can get authentic and clear knowledge. And he came up with some rules. The first rule that he came up with, I am going to accept only that knowledge that is clear and distinct. The second rule is the rule of the divisibility. It's very simple. If we have any complex problem, I'm going to divide that complex problem into the simpler problems and then I'm going to work on it. Third rule was that I'm going to put these problems in a hierarchy. I'm going to start with the simplest problem, then less complex, and then I'm going to move forward. And the fourth was, while doing all this, if something is omitted, then I'm going to work on that. So these are the 4 rules, that 4 method that he gave. And this method that he gave was in order to get the clear and authentic knowledge. That is how he's supposed to get the clear and authentic knowledge. Now, he's doubting everything. Till what time is he going to doubt everything? Is there a limit to his doubt? If I'm going to doubt a tree, I'm going to doubt its leaves, then am I a skepticism? Am I talking about a school of skepticism? Then we all have to understand that he is not a skeptic. Skeptics are the ones who consider everything as false. Descartes, on the other hand, he's just starting his theory with it. He's just supposing it to be false. He's not saying that they are false. He's supposing, he's only thinking that they are false, and that is just the start of the philosophy. We all have to understand that. So he's not a skeptic, he's a rationalist. He's trying to find the reason. How can I get the clear and authentic knowledge? Now, talking about the doubt, so he was doubting everything. People called him a madman, and philosophers are supposed to be mad, so that is completely okay. Now, what is the thing that he cannot doubt? The thing that he cannot doubt is something that Shankaracharya also said. He said that in order to doubt I, you need to be there. In order to deny I, you need to be there first in order to deny it. It's the same in the Western philosophy. He also said that I cannot deny I. I want you to understand, I here is the soul. It's not the body. The more you deny it, the more you assert it. If I sit here and I say that I am not here, who is saying it? So, the more you deny it, the more you assert it. I is the only thing that he cannot deny. So, the doubter must be there in order to doubt. From this came the famous theory of Descartes, Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. It was also later said that he put it in this way, that I exist, therefore I am. So I is the soul, and the soul of Rene Descartes is spiritual. It does the spiritual thing. It does the work of thinking. It cannot be material, right? You cannot say that I walk, therefore I am. If you can't walk, that means you're not there. There are times that we don't walk, like right now I'm not walking, but I'm there. So it is only a spiritual thing. So I think, therefore I am, and I is the spiritual being of him. Why he cannot deny I? Because denying I will lead to self-contradiction. He thinks that anyone that believes in self-contradiction is a less intelligent person. If you say that someone is tall and short, that will make no sense. Either someone is tall, according to you, or someone is short. So he doesn't believe in self-contradiction, and anyone who does, according to him, is less intelligent person. Now this we are done with the I, we are done with the soul. His soul is a spiritual soul. Now this spiritual soul contains some of the things that are innate within the soul. Innate means they are present from the birth. No one has taught to them, and they are not derived from this material world. What are those innate things? For example, mathematics. For example, if I give you a packet of rice, I give someone who is illiterate or a child a packet of rice. If I tell him that, this is a bound, and you convert it into two different parts, the child is going to do it. So there are some of the things that are innate within us. If I give you a piece of paper and I say that you make another paper, same dimension, you make another paper. Do not divide it. If you divide it, there's a theory of that also, that if you divide, the part cannot be bigger than the whole, right? The part has to be smaller than the whole. There's a famous story that someone asked God, okay, God, can you make a mountain which you cannot climb? Can you make an ocean which you cannot swim? The answer to that is very simple. In terms of Descartes, part cannot be bigger than whole. God is whole. So the question itself doesn't make sense. So we studied a few things. In the next lecture, we are going to reconcile all these things, and we are going to make a sense out of it. So I hope you understood the method of doubt, how he is going to doubt everything. I hope you understood that how self-contradiction is not an intelligent thing according to him. Doubting I will lead to a self-contradiction. How he came up with Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. So these are like few of the things, and the innate ideas that are there, there are different kind of ideas. Innate ideas, adventitious ideas, imaginary ideas. Adventitious ideas are the ones that are derived in this material world. Innate ideas are the ones that are there from the birth, and imaginary ideas are the ones that are there on the imagination, that are derived by imagination. So obviously we cannot rely on the imaginary one and the adventitious one, and that is the reason innate ideas are the one that we rely on. In the next lecture, we are going to study more about it. Till then,